Howie Roseman doing Howie Roseman things as the Eagles make a couple deals heading, into the weekend, and then they make another one this morning. Adam Schefter, I believe, was first to report that Jalen Phillips will be heading to Philadelphia after working out a deal with the Miami Dolphins. Look, I mean, this is a reunion of sorts, of course. Vic Fangio, the DC down there in Philly, and if you're Phillips, you got to be pumped about this, right? Because you had one of your best seasons under Fangio. So third trade the Eagles have made in the past week. They've added Phillips, Jair Alexander, as well as Michael Carter, gave up a 2026 third round pick. They still have one, though, by way of a previous trade. So like I said, Howie doing Howie things. I guess here's my overreaction. We now know where the Philadelphia Eagles stand this season. They're all in. They are all in. In your estimation, should the Patriots make a trade? Should they be all in now that they're sitting there, rattling off 6 straight wins at 7-2, or is that an overreaction?
I think it is. I don't think they should be all in. I think giving up future draft capital for this team, for as good as they've looked and for as well as Mike Vrabel has coached them up and put them in positions to win, this isn't a Super Bowl contender, I don't think. So giving up future capital to take away from what should be a contending team, starting next year and moving forward, I think would be silly. It would be a little bit nearsighted. You're not seeing the forest for the trees, as they say. It's just like, all right, Super Bowl, we got to get rid of a second and a third round pick to bring in 2 guys on expiring contracts who won't be here next year. And then we also don't have those picks to bring in guys to replace them. That's a mistake. The Eagles, it's very clear that they're all in, and they should be. Yeah. That offense for, Saquon Barkley is tremendous, but he's a running back, and it's only going to last so long. A.J. Brown's going to lose his mind eventually and force his way out of there. I think he's much closer to that than we think. Jalen Hurts is really good for their system, but once the pieces around him start to dwindle, it'll be a problem. The offensive line is getting older. Like, you need to go now. And then when it all falls apart, that's when you get to kind of reset everything. But for the way they look and for kind of the situation they're in, absolutely makes sense. Bringing a really talented player for what isn't even their best third round pick. They got rid of their own because they're like, that's going to be late in the draft or late in the round. It's going to be past the top 100. We'll take, I forget who they got one from a trade, but it's going to be in the top half of the third round. So they kept that one. So good on Howie. He knows what he's doing. Especially with making all these moves, trying to go get another Super Bowl.
Yeah, no, 100% agree with everything that you said. I think the Patriots could and maybe should try to make some kind of move, but I think that you have to do it without giving up too much, for down the road. And like we said earlier, I think we'll learn a lot about Ramondre Stevenson's injury if they address the running back situation before 4:00 tomorrow afternoon. Okay, they will, meaning the Patriots, win 10 straight games. If you look at the schedule, right? I mean, it's Tampa Bay in Tampa, 1:00 kick on Sunday. And then they play 3 teams who have a combined 6 wins. They host the Jets, they go to Cincinnati, and they host the Giants. 10-game win streak on tap. Overreaction or no?
I wish you would ask me this, on next Monday, because that would completely change my answer depending on what happens. But I don't think so. I think Tampa Bay is a better football team at this stage. It's going to be a home game for them. They're a little bit further along in terms of competing, I think. So it doesn't make sense for this team to win 10 straight games. I'm sorry. Eventually they're going to stumble. This week makes the most sense for it to happen. But if they win, I mean, they're going to beat the Jets on a Thursday night. I would have to imagine they're going to be able to put up a fair amount of points against Cincinnati and that putrid defense. The Giants are sneaky, not fun to play. They beat the Eagles earlier this year. They've been competitive. So that's a question mark there. I don't think they'll win 10 straight games. That's true. That's very true. The Giants
have also lost a lot of pieces. So
yeah.
I don't disagree with you, but I'll say it's not an overreaction. And the reason I say that is because I think that they slipped up this week against Atlanta. I think that they didn't play their best game. They made some mistakes out there, and they still found a way to eke out a win, and an ugly win at that. So I think if you can shore those things up, maybe this was the slip up, and you just, you got the win, and you don't apologize for it. And do I think that it's inevitable they're going to go down to Tampa and beat the Bucs? No, absolutely not. Do I think it's impossible? No, I don't. I mean, I think that there's a chance that they can go down there and find a way to beat the Bucs, even though they're coming off of a bye. So I'll buy it. I'll say it's not an overreaction. I don't know if it's the most likely thing out there, but I also don't think that you can sit there and say there's no way that it's going to happen. All right. As I said, Josh Allen really outplayed Patrick Mahomes in that game yesterday in Orchard Park. He had a terrific game. Mahomes had his struggles to say the least. Did he drop below Drake Maye in the MVP race? He did. Overreaction or not?
No, not an overreaction. You have to win football games in this league, and you have to be a quarterback to win MVP. Those are the two things that we know to be true.
Stipulations.
Yeah, he throws the ball, so he's got that, obviously, but they have not looked like the team they've looked like in the past. They've regressed as a team. He hasn't. He's still just as good as he's always been, but the fact that the team has regressed so much and Drake Maye is on the ascent, I think there are some other, like Matthew Stafford should be in the MVP conversation, in my opinion. Jonathan Taylor's a guy that's been mentioned. I think all three of those guys, Stafford, Maye, and Taylor, are ahead of Patrick Mahomes at this point, which if you said that entering the season, people would have thought I'm crazy. But for right now, for what they are, being the Kansas City Chiefs, and what he's been, which has been good but not better than he's been in the past, he's held to a higher standard, so I don't think he's quite in the conversation at this point in the season. Drake Maye definitely is.
I feel like there's always a little bit of carryover too, like what you've done previously, even though it shouldn't totally apply to this season. But I do feel like there's a little bit of carryover, and obviously, Pat Mahomes is going to benefit from that. And I'm not saying that as a knock on him. I think it's just a reality. I don't think it's an overreaction. I think, Drake, he made some mistakes yesterday that didn't help himself. But again, like he's still putting himself in elite company with, the 100+ passer rating, the 200+ passing yards, 8 straight games. I mean, these numbers are pretty ridiculous. So he's only helping himself as well in that conversation. Mac Jones would thrive in Drake Maye's spot this season. Overreaction?
Don't make me angry, Matt. This isn't you, Jade. This is producer Matt.
Going with this. I had to say it insane. Just because, for this reason.
Mac Jones stinks. Like, he's done fine with.
Wait, did you watch him play yesterday?
He's not good. I refuse to do the Mac Jones discussion. No, he would not thrive. He would barely skate by. And the team isn't as good now as they were in 21, so they wouldn't be as good as they've been. They wouldn't be at top of the AFC East. They wouldn't have beaten Buffalo. Mac Jones stinks. I'll leave it at that.
I think that's it. I think that's an overreaction, Keagan. If you want my take, he's playing super well. He's gonna get a chance to go be Sam Darnold next year. Like he's gonna get an opportunity to go be a starter in this league. I know you're grateful that it's not here in New England, but give the kid some credit. Whoever
makes that decision that they want him to come be their starter, good luck hitting mediocrity for the next 10 years, because that's the stupidest decision you can make, making Mac Jones your franchise quarterback. Ugh, gross.
He can't even do it. All right, let's do one more. The Lions are overrated. Overreaction or not?
No, they hit a snag. Minnesota, had their quarterback come in. He gave them a little bit different of an element. They couldn't run the ball. Detroit, which is the first time in a long time we've said that. So they're not overrated. They just had a bad week.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that you can underestimate the Detroit Lions and what Dan Campbell has built there, and their potential to find a way to ruin some Sundays for people as we move into the colder weather months here.